Hello, my name's Charles and welcome to ShopFreeMart's YouTube channel. Today we have an audio broadcast. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, click the subscribe button, and if you wish to be notified of upcoming audio broadcasts or videos, click the bell icon as well. So without further ado, let's listen to today's broadcast.
Hello, everyone. This is Dick Matwishian. I'm a member of ShopFreeMart. This is going to be call 1153 on October 16th, 2019. We're going to be talking, we being Steve Lowe and myself are going to be talking here. He's going to be talking, I'm going to be interviewing a bit here about his experience and having a stroke. So I'm going to give a disclaimer here. ShopFreeMart products have not been evaluated by the FDA, and we make no claims that our products treat, cure, or prevent disease. It may be a good idea to have a doctor monitor your results whenever beginning any health regime, especially if you are on medications for blood pressure or blood sugar, as you may need to reduce these medications as your body returns to homeostasis, returns to balance, its natural balance. We're going to be talking in this case about Steve's experience, letting him share his experience as we go along here, and understand that we are all different. We are all individuals. We've had a little bit of different genetic makeup. We've had different lifestyles, and we've had different accidents and injuries that have gone in life that may have impacted us. And so to get our bodies back in balance so that they can perform as they were designed to perform is one of the key factors that we look for in life. So, Steve, I'm going to have you start here and go into describing what kind of the stroke that you had. So go ahead.
I had a left hemisphere in the back of my head. The MRIs was where the scar tissue was, and it was all lit up. And what happened is I went uptown with my girlfriend one Saturday morning, and we got some things. We come back. I got out of the garage, and I tripped on a pallet, and I thought, that's a little odd. I'm usually not that clumsy. But then I got in the house here, and I was laying in bed, and my words were slurred, and she said my face had dropped on one side, like you see somebody stroke people. And she said, I'm going to call the ambulance. And I said, well, I'm going to get up and go sit on the couch. Well, by the time I got up to get it and go out on the couch, I fell down on the floor again. And I thought the cat tripped me, but it didn't. You know, I don't think it is. If it did, I'm mad at him. But that's another story. And so the ambulance came, and they said, yep, he's had a stroke. Look at his eyes and this and that. Now, 3 days earlier, I had a stent put in my kidneys, my renal artery, it's called, because I wasn't getting enough blood to my kidneys to filter the blood enough for all my organs, and it was sending out hormones that said, danger, danger, not enough blood. When that raised, of course, the body did its infinite wisdom. It raised the blood pressure, so more blood would get cleaned. So my blood pressure was like 225 over 125, you know, really dangerous. And, of course, I went and had that stent put in, and I went way down. But they didn't give me no heparin or nothing. And I don't know if that was it, but a blood clot let loose out of the kidney, and it's supposed to go straight down toward the feet, but mine went up into the brain. And years ago, I had got hit in the head by a hammer falling out of a tree fort from my cousin. And a day later, I had to go get glasses because it hurt really bad. And, you know, so they go, whatever happened there, that was your weak spot in your head. I said, yeah, that's where the hammer hit me, right in the middle of the head, you know, on the back side there. And I said, I just happened to just be standing under the tree at the right place. And they said, yeah, well, the neurologist said, that's where it happened, and that's where your damage is done, and that's where the blood clot, you know, got clogged up there and wouldn't let no blood through and cut the oxygen off. That's when I got intervened by God, you know, in my opinion. Because my girlfriend come up and, you know, she says, well, did you know Kevin Zorbel? And I said, no. You mean the guy that played Hercules? And she goes, yeah, he had 3 strokes. And I said, I didn't know that. And she said, yeah. And they put him on this product called IEE and this water, happy water they called it then, the drink, and he come out of it totally, and he's back to acting and memorizing his lines. And I said, well, then I guess I better get some of that stuff because I'm a big supplement person. I looked, and my hobbies have been soil science, so I studied science a lot and loved it. I mean, it's just, something I enjoyed, spent a lot of time doing. Now, remember, I'm blind now because when I had my stroke, it's like I went into a winter storm, and everything was really, really white. I mean, I just couldn't see nothing. I couldn't. If you stood in front of me, if I had to go by your voice to recognize you, I just couldn't see nothing. And so they got me in the hospital. They got feeding tubes down my nose and catheters stuck in every end of me, And so she come up and she was worried about giving them to me because they said I'd choke on them and I could die if they got down in the lungs. And I said, well, that's a chance I'll take, because this ain't living. And so I did. I took that chance, and I took a pill, an IE pill, and a little bit of hydration water. And boy, did that taste good, because the nurses had been sitting by my bed holding me down, not allowing me to get up and go to the sink, because they knew if I got over that sink, I was getting a drink. But, the nurses were telling me I had demons in me and all kinds of things because I was at a Catholic, no offense, hospital. And I told them I do not have demons in me. I said I just had a stroke, And I just thought, and my memory was pretty good still. But they said, well, you got a good memory. I go, yeah, I always have. So that's when Liddy called the first day and went over things, and called the second day and third day and fourth day. And she sort of monitored what I was doing in my eating, and she was a dietitian. And of course, any food I had was pureed, where they grind it up like baby food and feed it to you. Gosh, right. Ground up carrots and peas suck, I'll tell you that. I'm sorry. I just didn't like them when I was a baby and don't like them now. So off I went on that journey, and pretty soon they pulled the catheter out of me right away and said, I got to pee. And they said, really? And they go, yeah. I said, I'm sure I do. I don't think you can. I think you're wrong. Well, I got up and I peed 1,000 cc's, and the nurse said, well, that's perfect. That's just, you're avoiding perfectly. And they said, yeah, I sort of felt like I had to. So then I got a really good nurse by the name of Gil who came in from the Philippines. And he says, Steve, what is it can I do for you? I said, well, every time that feeding machine goes on to feed my stomach, I get sicker than a dog. Can I have a glass of water? And he goes, nope, because you might swallow it. And right now, you only have about a 20% chance of living because you'll get pneumonia from that and die. And I said, well, your odds aren't very good. I don't like them. I said, but I feel like I can drink because I drank a little the other day. And he said, well, let me try some. And he dumped it down my feeding tube, 4 ounces. And, man, did that turn me around. I mean, I was ready to eat a cow then. I mean, I was hungry. And I told him, I need to eat something. I needed some real food in me. So they brought me a smoothie. That was my real food, a smoothie. And I can remember that and said, well, this ain't going to give me enough energy to scoot around the hallways here. And they go, well, you're supposed to be in your wheelchair anyway. Don't be walking with that walker. And I said, yeah, but I got to. I said, because I came in walking, I'm going to leave walking. And they said, yeah, we'll see about that. Well, by God, I was right. They caught me out in the hallway. There's these nurses running down the hallway after me saying, don't fall, don't fall. And I'm going, I'm not going to fall. I got to get going here. I got to get these leg strength built up, And then I went to physical therapy, and we did all kinds of things, and they kept saying, boy, you're getting better at rapid paces. What is it? And I said, well, I got this water, and I got these called IEE that I've been taking that are doing me just wonders. I mean, I feel great when I take them. And they go, well, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, but I won't let the doctor. He's going to really move out of that. And I said, yeah, it probably is. You're probably right. He probably will, because it isn't his idea. But I said, I believe in it. And by then I had listened to all kinds of the calls from ShopFreeMart. I mean, I was a regular every day. I listened to everyone. I mean, it made my day knowing I had something to do in a hospital bed. It was so important knowing that I had a way to help myself and educate myself by listening to Dick and all of them talk, and Dr. Austin and all these people, different people coming in and talking. I sucked that right up like a sponge, and thought, nope, I'm buying into it. Kool-Aid and all, I'm gonna drink the whole glass.
Hold on a second here, Steve. So let's catch up on a couple of things here. Okay. So the IEE, the incubated egg extract you're talking about, that's called Vitalize, right?
Yep.
Okay. And the water enhancer you were using is called hydration drops now, right?
Yeah, back then they called it Happy Water.
Right. So at what point in time did you start introducing the water treated with the hydration drops into your system?
As soon as Susan brought them up there, she brought like 4 bottles, 20-ounce bottles in glass little bottles. And I remember that night the nurse came in and said, "What's this? You're not supposed to have water." And I just said, "Well, this is a special water. This water gets 94% of the fluid into the cell versus 3% that you guys give me." And I said, "I need hydrated. The only way I'm going to get well is to get the endothemia in the arteries in the brain, moisture in them so they get stretchy again, so I don't have this problem again to where my arteries get clogged up and don't want to let that blood clot go by." And I said, "I don't want that again." So I said, "Well, I'm going to drink water." And she says, "Can I try one?" And she took a bottle and she left. And she come back the next morning. She said, "What is in that water?" I said, "I'm not really sure. I haven't figured that part of it out yet." But I said, "Why?" She said, "My brain got so crystal clear last night, I didn't even go for a coffee." And she said, "This morning I actually feel like a human. I'm going to be able to go home and sleep instead of being all jittery from coffee." And I said, "Well, I said, I've always got an extra bottle in here. Just come get it if you want." And from then on, whenever the nurses pulled the double shift, like they did the emergency room during the day, and then they had to do that shift at night at the home, they always came in and got a bottle of water for me to drink. And said, "This stuff's amazing." And I kept giving them the website and say, "Go download Dr. Weed's book and read it." I said, "That's how I started, just like you did." But I said, "You see what it does for me." And they go, "Yeah, everyone's talking about you." Because I was in a place where all these people had stroke, and they were all in these fancy wheelchairs that they lived in. And I kept saying, "That's not going to be me. No way. I'm not going to live in a wheelchair. Nope. I got too many things. I'm going to go water skiing next summer. And that don't work out with a wheelchair. I got to go water skiing. I grew up on a lake, and I did it my whole life, and I just loved it. And I was just didn't think what to do."
So let's go into that. So the current product name is Hydration Drops, and what Susan was bringing you in was bottles of bottled water, the 16.9-ounce bottles that were treated with what we call hydration drops, right?
Yes, correct. Distilled water in glass bottle.
Right. And so you had, so it was a distilled water in the glass bottle treated with hydration drops, and that's what you were using to hydrate yourself throughout the day, as opposed to tap water that you were typically given. So.
Right. Yep.
So.
My gosh, did it work, man? Did I pee like a racehorse?
Right. And that was good because you had that sensation, the urge to urinate, as well as, and they let you, as I recall, so you said they pulled out the catheter, and I want to let people know, when he said he peed about 1,000 cc's, that's 2 bottles of water, 2 16.9-ounce bottles of water approximately. So that's a healthy output for kidneys, was particularly when you have limited intake with that.
I guess the look they gave me, Dick, was just like I was from Mars. Like, where did you get all that pee in you? We didn't give you that much water. We didn't do that. How did you get all that in you? And I just look over at my little thing they roll across your bread and say, "I got water. I'm not going to." I said, "I warned you guys, I'm never going to go without water again. Never is someone going to." No, I said, I felt like I was being prosecuted for something really heinous. Because, they take someone that had that, and my tongue was white. It's so dried out, it was just unreal. I was going through dehydration like sunstroke. And I told them I'm getting cramps because I ain't got water, so I'm going to get water in me. I know when I need water.
So part of the normal process when you're basically diagnosed with a kidney issue is that they restrict how much water you're taking, and so you basically went the other way with the treated water, and that got your system working better again with that.
Yeah, kicked it into overdrive.
Right. So we're using the hydration drops and distilled water, and we're also utilizing the Vitalize capsules, which you were able to swallow. And one of the many things that does is it can release your stem cells, and the stem cells are a natural way that the body takes care of itself. It goes into repair mode itself using those.
Oh, yes, definitely. You want stem cells, and we all have them. We just need to feed them the nutrients to release them. In fact, I was doing research on that because my girlfriend sells stem cells for a medical company. You know, and I told them, these don't work because you're not feeding them the right nutrients. I said, everything I've learned from physiology, it's about terrain. You've got to change the terrain in your body to get this stuff to work. And I said, when you get them new stem cells at $10,000 or $15,000, you don't have the right nutrients to sort of usher them into where they need to be worked, you know, do their job, and to have what products they need to help fix. You know, so that took me back to my old soil science days, and I go, oh boy, you know, this is what humic and fulvic's supposed to do, you know. And I told Liddy that, and Liddy said, well, I'm going to have you talk to John about it. So John and I had a nice little talk about humic and fulvic, you know, and then I knew where you could get it. So I said, here, call this guy. This guy's got it, you know, on hand. They got a system we had worked out in the dry system, so it's not a water. So, and it will go in and kill every virus and every drug. And being that they had pumped me full of all kinds of drugs, I wanted them out of my body. I did not want something in my body to slow my body down. So I couldn't wait to get a hold of humic and fulvic so I get them drugs out of my body and make my body go back to homeostasis, because that's what I was after. And I kept remembering
Go ahead.
As a kid, everyone always say, if you ever get in a bad wreck or something, always go back in your brain and go back to when you had something like that before and how'd you fix yourself. You know, so all this time in the hospital, the doctors kept telling me for the next 2 years, you're going to sleep a lot. That's just brain healing. And I said, well, then I'll just reprogram my brain. And they go, what? And I just said, I'll go back in my youth and remember everything I did, the good and the bad, and just reprogram it so, you know, it knows that I want to fix it, know that I got plans for it, you know, because I'm not going to give up here. This ain't my last day of the last rodeo. I said, we're going to ride again. That's for darn sure.
Yeah. Good. And so let's just recap a little bit there, okay? So the product that you had basically gotten John to review and is now one of our products is called Living Minerals, and that's got the humic and fulvic acid in it as well as carbon, okay? And so there's a lot of information, you know, within the ShopFreeMart website about that particular product. But like you said, that tags things that are bad in your body and helps your body remove them, which is wonderful. And so the other aspect about here is you, from the mental side, what I hear you saying is you got in touch with, you wanted to see yourself in the future doing things that you've done before and get your life back with that, and that you went back and you saw as you had recovered from different things in the past and how you were, correct?
100% in that way.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to help people.
Right. And you were also had mentioned before that Liddy was calling you every day and she was kind of giving you some coaching and reinforcement along those same lines, right?
She's an angel. If you can put her in a bottle, you got a product on your shelf, son. I don't know how
we're putting her, and I want you to talk a little bit about more what she said here, because this is like a bottle. It's a mental bottle of hearing stuff, okay, that can give people hope and some guidance and encouragement to feel better. So tell me a little bit about how that coaching helped you.
Oh, I can't talk enough about it. In fact, I've gotten in trouble from my girlfriend because I tell Liddy I love her, you know. And I mean, I do. And people hear me say that on call, and Liddy goes, you're going to get me in trouble. And I said, Liddy, I'm not doing that. I said, if someone stops and helps change a tire and it's raining and you don't have no slicker, aren't you going to tell them people thank you, you appreciate it very much? And she goes, yeah. And I said, that's all I'm doing is telling you, without you being there alongside me in that I mean, every day that phone would ring, I'd light up, and the nurse would go, oh, your friend's calling again. And I go, yep. And then I talk to Liddy for up to a half hour every day. And that was just so monumental. You know, in fact, when I try to sign people up, I tell them, you're going to have someone that comes on board that's a dietitian and also just a real caring person. And they really care at ShopFreeMart. They really do care. And I said, don't be surprised if they ask you to talk to John Austin, the CEO, because he's a clinical dietitian too, and he'll probably give you some ideas. You know, I said, but they're always your choice what you want to do. They never force you to do nothing, never force to sell, nothing. It's your choice, and your choice is to go learn and learn as much as you can. And when someone's got a hand out helping you up off the ground, you keep falling down, you're going to accept it and appreciate them. And I've talked to Liddy's husband about it, Terry, and said, Terry, I hope you don't get you're not the jealous type. I said, because figure it out this way. If you like her, why shouldn't no one else like her? You know, and he goes, well, that's true. And I go, yep. And I just said, so since you've seen good in her, I've seen good in her too. That just means we think alike. You know, it doesn't mean I'm out trying to steal anyone's wife or nothing like that. I just love Liddy for helping and giving all this information and being so soothing in her talks and giving everyone so much hope. I just said, Liddy's a good old Minnesota girl. I said, you know, she'd do it a night, cold night to stay warm with. She'd be a cuddler. You know, I said, that's just Liddy. You know, I mean, like I give Liddy crap. I said, if you've seen someone fall down in the parking lot, you're going to spin a donut in your car and go back and help them up, aren't you? She goes, definitely. And that is Liddy. If she sees someone down and out, she's going to stop and help. And whatever, you know, I mean, she drags people home with her that she has never met before. And I go, Liddy, where'd this one come from? Well, she was walking real funny, and I thought I needed to help her. So what'd you do? He said, well, I brought her home. I did a bunch of massage on her and gave her some products, you know, and now she's walking with her walker, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I go, that's the Liddy I know. You know, always, you know, help.
And
I said,
Steve, that's even beyond what we talk about, sharing the love of these products, sharing the love of this business. That's going out there and sharing everything here with the world so that we can help them, which is exactly what she did and has continued to do with you as well as many other people. And that's absolutely wonderful. Let's go on to, so in the hospital you then went for some therapy.
Yeah, I went to therapy, and the therapist kept saying, boy, you're really doing well. What are you doing? And I said, I'm taking these pills and this water. And they go, yeah, we've heard about it from the nurses. Do you got permission to do that? And I said, yeah, I gave myself permission. You know, they didn't like that answer very much. And I just said, hey, guys, guess what? I came in here walking. I came in here water skiing. I came in here a very active 60-year-old. And I said, I believed I'd live to 100 years old. Because my mom's sisters all did, you know, until my mom got cancer, she died. But I just said, you know, I'm going to live a long, long time. And I said, you guys may think, you know, you're using your charts for the odds and saying I won't live that long. And I'm going, because when I left, I went from 30% then to 70% by the end of fall. And they go, wow, you're really doing, you're where you should be at 2 years from now. And I go, geez, I'm glad it didn't take 2 years. And they go, well, you got a tremendous appetite, and you got we ask you to do something, you always do more on your exercises. And I go, well, yeah, because that's how I've always been. I've always been an overachiever, you know, because I realize that you get things done by achieving. You don't get nothing done by procrastinating. And I just said, so I've always been an overachiever. You know, if someone says do 10 push-ups every night, I went home and every time a commercial came on, I did 10 push-ups. Well, you know, by the end of the night, I'd done 100 push-ups, you know, and you could tell the difference. I mean, my biceps started growing. It's just who I was. Just like reading. If they said read a chapter, I always read 10 chapters. I love to read, you know. And now my eyes were finally starting to come back to where I could see things, you know. And I was great. I was scared to death that I'd go through life blind, you know. But the products were bringing my eyesight back. And I hadn't put silver in my eye yet up to that point. I didn't even know about it. And I started hearing about it, and I asked Liddy, and she said, yeah, just put a drop or two in your eyes and see what happens. You know, and I did, and then it seems like my eyes really jumped on board and started coming back on board. You know, and the therapists all kept saying, you know, especially the occupational therapist, that was a hoot. One day the gal come in, and she said, I'm not going to play with you no more. And I said, what do you mean play with me? And she says, you know, we play these cognitive games every day about memory. And I said, yep. And she says, I'm the expert here. I'm supposed to win. And I just said, what are you telling me? You want me to fall down and let you win? And she goes, no, but you could make it look less embarrassing. And I said, what do you say? And she goes, my God, you got a memory on you, and you remember things really good. And I go, I remember what I want to remember, things that make me happy. And in soil science, I remember what made the plants happy, because I said whenever I tried a new product, I always gave it to my plants in the garden. If they did well, then I'd take it. If the plants didn't do well, I'd be hesitant, so.
Great.
I said, I just,
let me just, go ahead.
I had a madness to my theory.
Right. So the product you were talking about that you put drops in your eyes is our pure silver, ShopFreeMart pure silver. Okay.
Yep.
And so let me just go back. You were blind when this stroke? You had lost your vision right after the stroke?
Yes, I did, and everything was bright white.
Right.
I mean, like a snowstorm in the middle of a snowmobile in the middle of a lake going, geez, which way do I go? I don't even know. I mean, I could not see nothing. People come to my room and I just go, who are you? They had to talk for me to figure out which doctor they were.
So how did that start coming back? At what point did that start coming back?
I'd say about early fall, about when I really started getting into exercising and doing a lot of walking, and getting blood flow. I think the main important thing was getting that blood flow and getting oxygen back in my body. Now that I look back at it, once I started getting more oxygen in my body, because I'd sit there, and one of the instructors that taught me to do Tai Chi. And so I said, well, I can do this on the edge of my bed. So what I do is I tell you what, just go over in your bed and act like you're sitting down, but don't sit down. Get about 6 inches from the bed and just hold that position. That's called the horse stance. And I said, well, it does, it builds up your waist and your hips and it helps your legs and all your strength, and it'll help you walk and keep your balance. So I got pretty good at it. I was doing up to 5 minutes at a time, and if I felt like I had to fall, I just sat back on the bed, lay down, and caught my breath, and let it catch back up. But I think about the time I started doing all the Tai Chi exercises, because I remember Halloween coming around, and we were feeding all the little kids out there that came to the home for trick-or-treats, and I was thinking, boy, I'm seeing these kids' suits. I'm seeing their costumes. This is really cool. I get to see the little folks, and I enjoy kids so much because I have grandchildren, too, and I know how much they like Halloween and that candy. So I was really enjoying it and going, I told the nurse I'm starting to see again. This is good. And she goes, what are you doing different? I said, I've been putting silver in my eye. And she goes, why would you put metal in your eye? And I said, because it kills 632 different bacteria. And I said, I got a feeling that something's got in my eye. I don't know how. But I said, it seems to be working. I said, every product this company has seems to work.
So what's different about this, the pure silver, Steve, compared to other silvers out there?
Well, this silver has 200 parts per million, and most silvers only have 30 to 20, and they're made by electrolysis. So this one seems to be a lot better product. It's a lot more uniform, and it's 200 parts per million. When it gets in somewhere that's infected, like an eye, you got a floater in there and that, it goes after it with vengeance. Well, about that time is when I started getting hold of the humic too. So
right.
I was taking that stuff, 6 to 20 pills a day of that, because I really wanted all them chemicals out of my body gone. Because I knew, to get my body well, it had to be in a good state of mind and healthy. So I really took it hard and drank a lot of water with it,
Right.
And then I had a problem, and home will admit to this. We had to call the plumber 18 times because when I went to the bathroom, I went so much that it clogged the toilet up.
Right.
That should tell you how much product I had in my intestines that wasn't being digested, that was killing my immune system.
So this is the living minerals we're talking about here with this, and so kind of one of the couple of things just to throw in here is it's suggested to start out with one capsule of those for most people, and make sure you drink more water because you need to flush out, and you were talking about this the other day, you need to flush out the toxins that the body's accumulating because of the living minerals, as opposed to letting them re-assimilate into the body here with that. One other thing about the pure silver, this is a nanoparticle silver. And the micron size, I believe, is about 2 microns, which is about a fifth of the size of most of the other products that are out there. So it's smaller, so it gets into the cells better with that. Yep. So let's get back to another area here. You and I had talked before about you had learned, we were talking about training your body to get it back into balance. So you're doing a lot of things. You're doing breathing. You're doing some exercising and walking to get your circulation better. Of course, that carries all the nutrients through the bloodstream. So the blood flow goes to the eyes, it goes to the brain, it goes to the stomach, through all of our organs here. So by improving the blood circulation and then improving the hydration of the cells, all of this is helping your whole body get back into balance again, which is great.
It was sort of jump-starting it.
Right, yep. Exactly. Yep. And that with a sense of purpose of who you wanted to be and how you wanted to be in the future was actually back to where you were before this happened with that.
Right. Yep. You got to have a goal. You got to have a dream. Yep. What you dream, you become. And I could not wrap my head around a wheelchair or laying in the bed the rest of my life. I just couldn't do that. I just said no. That'd be no fun. You know, I mean, I'd like to get out and walk through the woods and see the birds and the squirrels and all the goofy animals out there playing and living. I enjoy that life. You know, I'm an old farm boy. That stuff.
What I love about what you're sharing here is it's a vision of yourself in your new future here, okay, of you doing all of these things and walking through the woods and seeing all of the wildlife and everything. That's, when we talk about things, a lot of times when we're saying words, what we're actually doing in our mind is visualizing them, right?
Definitely. Yeah, so, that's where Liz reading that now is so important. That book by Joe Dispenza, Supernatural, is such a great, wonderful book, and lays out 9 different meditations in there. And Lydia and them got dialogue on that from a lot of people that went to Egypt and places like that and studied this stuff. So, I mean, once again, Lydia's just a fountain of information about how to get well and how to go about your life and how to get your pineal gland back in order. You know, and I tell everyone what they're doing here, folks, is they're selling you life at ShopFreeMart. Everything they got is to increase your lifespan. So, you know, when you talk to people, they're going to say, well, this does that, and they're going to say, it almost sounds too good to be true. Well, it is, because you're adding these are all life-giving minerals and supplements. You know, and that's according to what I've watched my body go through. And many, because remember now, I was in the hospital with a lot of really sick people, and a lot of them were my grandma and grandpa's age. And I'd be down in their room talking to them and saying, here, have this water, drink this water. You know, and I was not a fan of the nurses. You know, but next day they come back and they say, Steve, I slept without any craps last night and I slept really good. Can I have another water? I go, yep, I'll make Susan bring you down a gallon. You know, so I witnessed all these people getting better on it, even though I was going against their doctors. You know, I mean, they're saying, you better hope none of them ever die, is what one nurse said. And I said, why should I hope you're in charge of them? I don't, you know. You guys should be feeding them something to keep them alive.
Right. And there's a point right there. Okay, when we're eating, the biggest focus should be on eating to maintain our body. So we're eating healthy so that we're getting the nutrients for our cells, tissues, and organs in the body. And so that's where you're coming from now with that, right?
Yep. I knew that's where I had to get back to.
Yeah. And so the nutrients, so overall we're looking here, the nutrients that you were getting from the products and the treated water and everything else was helping to improve you on a cellular level here, as well as to clean out the toxins and everything in the body to void those out of the system with that, and then the whole mental aspect of this too. So it's great to have this overall balance of things of where you want to be with all of that.
Oh yeah,
great with all that.
I was really lucky, Dick, because most of my life I hauled cars. And what I did is I hauled cars from New York City to Seattle. And most of the cars I hauled were doctors' cars. So when I got to their house, they wanted to talk out in the driveway because I had their car. So I could talk to them about all kinds of health conditions. So my whole life I've been studying nutrition and soil science and what makes man tick. You know, and all these things that I use were what I was told that makes man and women tick. You know, so I thought, well, now I guess I've been told that stuff to use because it's going to come a day I need it. I guess today's the day I need it. You know, so I started instilling it in my head. You know, and then Liddy started reading these books, and I'm going, Liddy, you're right on point. You're exactly where we need to head with this because this company is not a normal company. This company is John's went one step up and above, and everyone that works with them. You know, I mean, and I know, in fact, I know that Liddy gets a hard time from her family over this. You know, because they're saying, why
very often, go ahead.
Because they're worried that she's getting too far outside the boundaries. You know, I said, Liddy, don't worry about it. You'll find the answer. You'll find the answer, and God will tell you, you know. And some minister did confront her back when she was back home taking care of her dad and said, whatever you're doing is, you're a good child. You're taking care of your parents the way your mom's not here no more, but you're taking care of your dad, and I got to tell you, he talks about you all the time. That really helped her because her sisters and brothers were jumping her, saying, Liddy, you can't talk about this crazy stuff all the time. Where do you find these crazy people? She goes, man, they line up outside my door. You know?
God brings them to us with all of that.
Yeah. You know, and Liddy wasn't afraid to stick up for it. So, you know, when she stuck up for me, I stuck up for her. You know, I said, here, read these books and you'll find out. Read these white papers and you'll find out.
And you know, Steve, I thank you for that because sometimes, you know, we all could use a little reinforcement that what we're doing, we are on the right path and we're truly helping people. And although we know it, sometimes we might get blindsided a little bit. So I think it helps all of us and each of us to get reinforced a little bit that what we're doing is really meaningful and helping people with everything. I'm going to ask you another question here, okay? Knowing what you know now and what you've experienced, what would you suggest to people to prevent having a stroke?
You know, I thought about that a lot, Dick, because I really couldn't figure it. And then, of course, I have a good friend that's a sports doctor at the University of Wisconsin, and he says, Steve, they sent you home without any heparin. They did a major operation on you, and they gave more blood flow to your kidney. You don't suppose that washed a blood clot out up into your brain, do you? I go, that makes logic, because I know when I had my heart attack a year earlier, they gave me heparin for like 2 months to make sure I didn't get no blood clots going anywhere. So, you know, I mean, and I went back and asked my cardiologist if he screwed up. He got all squirrely on me. And he goes, blood goes down, it doesn't come up, so that wouldn't be possible. And he said, well, you know, it's just sort of coincidental then that you put a stent in my my artery between my kidney and my heart, and next thing you know, I have a blood clot. You know, I mean, 3 days later, wow. I think that's just a little more than coincidence. You know, I said that's where I'm looking.
Right.
You know what, Dick? I really think if I had had the water prior to that and been more hydrated, I don't think I would have ever had a stroke.
That might have helped with that. So barring the other things in here, and we had, you know, one of the other things that you had mentioned before is the body's infinite wisdom here, because your body was sensing because of your kidney issue you needed more blood flow, which is what raised your blood pressure, okay? Because that part of your body was signaling its signal properly that we need more blood flow. And that was the only way it could do it, is increasing the pressure to get it there. So it was trying to overcome a problem within the body. And generally that's what's going on in the body, from what I understand, is if there's a problem, the body's going to do whatever it takes to try to compensate for that.
Yep, that's what I understand too, and that's what Liddy's been studying too. You know, about how it's all, most blood pressure is all dehydration. And I can really see that now that I drink so much of this water. I mean, I just still love, I mean, Susan will see me pick up a 20-ounce bottle and swallow it all. And she goes, well, you're pretty thirsty, huh? And I go, no, I just desire it. my body, once I starts coming in me, it just goes, more, more, more. Give me more. And I go, okay, I'll give you more. You know.
Okay, so let's take this. So forgetting that you had a kidney issue and a blood pressure issue that all led probably to all of this, hydrating yourself and keeping yourself well hydrated is a good thing to do. The exercising that you were doing to improve circulation is a good thing to do. We're taking some supplements that help the stem cells flow better and things like that, which would be the Vitalize, okay? Working against some of the issues that we may have in our body that may have bacteria. The Pure Silver helps with that. This is kind of all the stuff I've heard from you as we're going along in here. And then having that mental attitude that you want to be well and breathing too. All of those things can come together as a kind of a base to live a healthier life from, body-wise and mind-wise, right?
You bet. Well, Dick, can you imagine yourself ever walking down the street again and never seeing a pretty girl again? I mean, I know you're probably married, but still, come on, you're still alive.
Well, I love to see my beautiful wife, so wherever it is, but also nature. You know, we live in a house with a lake in the background, and I love to see, you know, the lake and the birds and the sunsets and things like that. And you know, there's so many things to enjoy in life with all of that. It's just wonderful with that. Thank you for bringing it up.
I'm just like you. I mean, our living room looked out on the lake, so I tell everyone that water brings peace to you.
Yes.
I remember coming home from a bad day at work going, oh, I'm happy now. Why? Well, I'm getting to see the water. Well, that's because I had so many wonderful times in it when I was a kid. You know, I loved swimming and I loved water skiing. I mean, I was a water baby. You know, I always figured I'd end up out in California on the beach. That was always my dream as a kid. Go be a beach bunny, you know.
Right. Steve, we're going to wrap up at this point. Is there anything else that you would like to say here as we wrap up this call?
The one thing, Dick, is when something like this happens, the first thing you do is you get very depressed because you think that you're immortal. You're not immortal no more. You're dying. And so I tell everyone that gets really depressed, don't hold that thought long because there are answers if you look. And you will pop out of it, and you will go forward, and you just get a chance to rewrite your whole script again. And that's what that one nurse says. She said, look at it like this, Steve. You get a chance to rewrite everything you did, so go back into your childhood and go through everything you did, all the memories, the smells, the tastes, and pick which ones you like and concentrate on them. You know, and, of course, mine was chocolate cake. I loved chocolate cake and pumpkin pie. You know, I just loved them when I was a kid. And so there's things I told myself, when I get out of here, I'm going to buy me a chocolate cake and eat it. Well, being a type 1 diabetic, I wasn't too smart, you know. So that's where the sugar D come in hand. I can have the chocolate cake. They can lay right there on the table, and I won't even touch it with the sugar D. Just don't desire it. I don't like the feeling of it because now I eat for feeling. I don't eat for flavor no more. I eat for feeling. And if it feels good, just like red meat, I don't eat a lot of red meat. But I tell you what, folks, if you're a big meat eater, do yourself a favor and use the free minerals, the humic and fulvic. Just sprinkle it on your meat and eat it. You can't even taste it, but you will not believe how that meat digests in your stomach and you don't get all bloated. I mean, I know lots of meat eaters that have done that and go, man, I'll eat meat again because it didn't bother my stomach so much. And that's when I start finding about all these kids that have leaky gut syndrome that miss school. We got a nurse that comes over here, and I was telling her that, and she goes, did you hear what happened to me? And I go, no. My daughter missed 45 days of school last year. And I said, oh, my God, why? She said leaky gut syndrome. It was burning her esophagus when it was coming up her throat. And I said, and she said the school charged me $376 for every day she missed for truancy. And I go, my God, that's like $150,000. She goes, yeah, and I couldn't pay it, so I had to go to the doctor and get all these releases. And I go, I didn't know that was that major of a problem. And then another nurse came in and told me her daughter had the same problem at about 8 years old, that she couldn't go to any parties or anything like that because she never knew she was going to get sick and just throw up. And I go, my God, this is a much bigger problem than we ever thought.
And so the living minerals, was that helpful with the leaky gut?
Yes, it was. It will go in and clean all that up because it goes in and it cleans the endothenia on your intestines, which is 80% of your immune system. So the big thing Liddy and I have been talking about here lately is then how to get your immune system to respond properly. Because if your gut's 80% and your spinal fluid's 20%, you better have a lot of boron because that's the second most element in your brain is boron. So there's a reason that boron's in there moving that calcium around down your spine. We're trying to figure this all out. And we know it's about the immunity. Joe Biden's son died of cancer, and Joe went out and gathered up $1 billion in contributions to study the immune system because he realized if his son's immune system would have been strong, he could have lived. So they're starting to figure out, go to what makes us feel well. And I know in the plant world, it's the same thing. If you feed your plant sugar, it goes down, trades off minerals in the soil and nutrients for the plant. So it can make more chlorophyll and trade more to the little microbes in the soil. Everything's about microbiology, everything. And in fact, I'll go far enough to think if there's a God, he's a microbe. Because God says he's everywhere. Well, there's something that is everywhere, and that's microbes. They are everywhere. Where there's no microbes, there's no life. So we got to have microbes in our life, and that makes up life. There's 1 trillion microbes in 1 teaspoon of soil. On our skin, for every 1 inch, we have 32 million microbes on our skin right now. So when you use harsh soaps or anything like that, you're just killing yourself. You're killing your immune system. A couple weeks ago, I had a 75-year-old minister call me, and he goes, Steve, did you put something in these pills? And I said, like what? He said, marijuana. And I said, no, boy, I couldn't do that. That's illegal. And he goes, why am I walking around clicking my heels and whistling all the time? And I said, that's your immune system smiling. And he goes, yeah, I've been taking that black stuff now for about 2 months. And he just goes, man, am I a happy camper. He's at 75 years old. He said, my health wasn't that good, but now I feel so good that I literally walk around clicking my heels and whistling all day. Like I'm in the Mary Poppins movie. And he just said, thank you very much. And he said, now my dog, here's a great one. His dog is the 8-year-old German Shepherd, and a year ago they diagnosed it with Lyme disease. Now, I took it to the vet here a month ago, and the doctor said, what did you do to this dog? And he goes, why? He goes, well, it's high energy. This dog has really got a lot of energy, but it does not have Lyme disease no more. And he goes, that's because I've been putting this humic and fulvic on his dog food. And it literally took, now this is supposed to take HIV and hepatitis out of your body, but it also takes Lyme out of your body. Now, how many people do we know with Lyme disease that it really, really goofs up? So everyone that has Lyme disease, what I've been doing here lately is looking for people with chemo and saying, here, I'll give you a bottle free if you want to try these, but I think you'll take your sickness away. And a couple of people that have been on chemo come back and say, guess what? My cancer is gone. The chemo worked, and I never got sick one day. Never felt like I had a cough. And I'm going, well, that's what it's supposed to do. That's exactly what they advertise in the white papers, the scientists say, that it will take all this stuff out. And I said, I'm just glad. So here's one really wild story, Dick. I have a friend, you probably know, you hear him on here once in a while. His name is Mike Lanigan. Well, he lost his left leg in a car accident. He's a physical therapist. And a neighbor came over one day, and he says, Mike, I've got to go see my parole officer today, and I smoked marijuana today, and he's going to drug test me, and if I fail, I go back to prison for life. And yesterday I did something really bad. I sniffed crystal meth. And he goes, well, buddy, you're probably going to jail. And he said, the only thing I got is some of this humic and fulvic acid. So he gave him 7 pills in water. That was 20 minutes to 2. At 20 minutes after 2, he went in and took his drug test. He peed in the cup, and he passed.
Wow. Well, we encourage people to not do that, but it lets you know what can be pulled out of the body with that. So
yeah, that's the only reason. I don't want people to go out and do drugs. No way.
No.
No. We're still both stunned at that because we figured they'd be coming hauling him off to prison. And he goes, I got this. Took it right out of his body. So can you imagine, like now it's the flu and cold season here in Wisconsin because the kids are all getting there at school and coming home. And so one of the nurses that come by to help me in my daily routine, she said, my kid's been sick all weekend with the runs and all this and that. So I gave her 3 pills, and I said, here, get them and take these 3 pills when you get home tonight. She comes back the next day and she goes, guess what? That he's no longer running in the bathroom. It stopped it. I said, that's supposed to. It makes them claims that it does that. It's going to take all the poisons out of the cell and take the positive ions out and the acid out, and it's going to make your body, it's supposed to balance the alkalides. Well, if you get a balanced alkali, you won't be sick long.
Right.
So
okay, Steve, we're going to...
Amazing things.
Yes, amazing. Again, that's the living minerals with that we utilize, and the mineralizer can be used with your pets here. Well, Steve, thank you very much for sharing not only your experiences and your trip back to being in balance here, but a lot of other hints and things that you've learned along the way. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, ShopFreeMart. Thank you, Dick.
Okay. So again, this is
for you guys.
Well, thank you, Steve. This is call 11. Go ahead.
I could very well be dead.
Well, yes, and we're so happy and thrilled that you're vibrant, okay, and you're out there sharing everything. So, so this is call 1153. ShopFreeMart products have not been evaluated by the FDA, and we make no claims that our products treat, cure, or prevent disease. It may be a good idea to have a doctor monitor your results whenever beginning any health regime, especially if you're on medications for blood pressure or blood sugar, as you may need to reduce these medications as your body returns to homeostasis, as it returns to balance. And so what you've heard here is a story of that Steve has shared with us about his personal experience and his personal experience back to homeostasis, his body's experience back to balance here, which has given him his life back here, and in the process of giving him his life back here with this. And Steve, we're so happy for that, and we're so happy that you continue on a daily basis to share your story, to share the love of these products and this business and this opportunity to go out and reach people and actually be aware that when people are put in front of you, that they need and want to hear about these types of stories, to give them hope, that there's some hope for them with that. And so,
Dick, can I say one more thing?
Yes.
I fell down in the parking lot of the rehab center this year and broke my ankle and broke my tailbone and tore my rotor cuff. So I've had to go to the hospital and do a lot of physical therapy on that stuff. And I keep telling them, why are all these kids dying when they come in here with heroin overdose? And they go, because they quit breathing. And I said, well, then give them this product. And they go, what is it? I said, well, it'll help oxygen get in their body, it'll clean them out and keep a clean slate. So I've been trying to get the overdose kids to try it so they don't die when they're not, because they literally are dying around here like flies. I don't know why, but they say it's because it's so cheap, but my God, we're talking about nurses and school teachers dying of heroin overdose. And I'm going, what can I do to help?
Right.
I mean, what a terrible thing.
Well, and again, that's a good question all the time that we can always ask, is what can I do to help? What can we do to help, Steve? And that's how we kind of look within this. So for everyone who gets a chance to listen to this, see what you've learned from this. The purpose of this was to give you some hope and some direction as to what Steve has done in this particular case to help his body get back into balance with this. And we encourage everyone to go out and share the love. And in this case here, this is one of those cases, because I always say share the love, maybe save a life. And Steve, I know the many people who have heard your story before and the many people that will hear this in the future, I know we're going to be helping not only to share the love, but I know we're going to be helping to save a lot of lives in the process here with this. So,
and we're not making no claims. We're just trying to teach you how to teach your body to come back alive. And they're all logical purposes. So we're not making claims. We're just telling you, train yourself in a different manner. Let yourself know that you have a possible avenue to go down and find help.
So thank you, Steve. And I look forward to seeing you on the calls and sharing your stories and your updates and things like that as we go along here.
Okay, thank you, Dick. Have a good day.
You too. And Steve, I love you.
Thank you, sir. 1153 is the number.
Right. 1153 is the number. And just so you, I love you, Steve, and I'll say that to you like I say that to everyone else, too. Take care.
Now you're going to have my girlfriend thinking I'm weird.
No, you're normal. You're normal. Yeah. We got to make that the new normal. The new normal, Steve.
That is the new normal. That's what Grandma told me. All right, bye-bye.
That's right. Bye-bye.